Thank God we don't have separate microphones, so we don't have to like sync up. I don't have to go like 1, 2, 3 gay or anything.
Well, what do you mean? Like, because if you have them both in the same program, you don't have to do that. It just makes us 2 channels.
Yeah, see, I told you, dude. I don't know any of this shit.
It's really easy to record with multiple microphones. Okay, so, shit. So we had this idea for the podcast, right?
Start this over?
No. We'll be upfront and frank. We're starting a new podcast. Jacob here is going to be my host. This is Alex, by the way. Jacob's going to be my host since we're living together. What we're going to do is we're going to be every time we record, we'll be coming to each other with new things that we've experienced that we want to review. It's going to be like a review type podcast, but it's going to be short. It's not going to be just dedicated to like one thing, like a YouTube long play video essay about the horrors of Modern Warfare 3 or whatever.
I mean, I'm going to see some cool shit, and then I'm going to review it or talk about it. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, that's the point. That was what you sold me.
Hell yeah.
So that's what we're doing. The name is Review It. So Jacob, TM copyrighted,
trademark.
So Jacob, if you want to tell me the first thing that you want to review,
my first and only thing.
Oh, you're gonna do okay.
I'm a first and only thing. So
maybe I should go first then, because my thing is much shorter.
Let's keep mine a surprise.
Okay, so I have 2 things to review. Number 1, that's Terror.
What's the continuation of that? It's number 1, that's Terror. What's number 2?
He says that's Terror, and then he shocks him.
Damn, that's real terror right there. I can respect the man who knows.
Did you see that the guy had to remake the video because it got taken down by Machinima?
Everybody had to fucking remake their videos because Machinima doesn't exist anymore.
He made it in like 1080p. They have a channel still, right?
I looked at the channel. It looks like an Herbalife fucking commercial. The entire channel looks just like they're trying to sell me supplements.
Oh, imagine that though. Like, imagine RB and the Chief branded Herbalife supplements. Dude, when you said, I didn't even like RB and the Chief when I was young, but you said that most of the episodes were gone. I was like,
it was pain. But then I remembered RB and the Chief LA was the thing, and then I didn't regret it anymore.
I don't know what that is.
You never watched RB and the Chief LA?
No, is that like is that like NCIS, like Los Angeles? Wait, that's the one that goes
NCIS Los Angeles, then NCIS New Orleans. Los Angeles it did not have Ice-T in it.
It has LL Cool J, right?
Yeah, it did have LL Cool J. Isn't that such a weird phenomenon? You have these obscure 90s rappers that have just turned into sitcom.
I wouldn't say LL Cool J is obscure.
He's
compared
obscure
to
now.
Of course,
name one LL Cool J song.
I can't, but I know a lot of like women in their 40s love LL Cool J.
Oh yeah, and my mom loves Nelly, but we don't see Nelly.
Dude, when's Nelly gonna get into acting?
All right, we digress.
Okay.
What are you reviewing?
For my first review, I recently played, as in yesterday, played this game called We Were Here. We Were Here, right? We Were Here with Michael. And
our friend Michael,
GAM 3 years 10. We were like dying. You were with us all day. We were dying to find a game to play. And so I saw that it was free to play. And then it suggested like,
hold up, you are not being honest here. Let's start from the beginning. So we spent all day looking for a game, and you have this magical power that whatever game we decide to play crashes when you're involved.
Okay, true.
And then I recommended we were together 2 together also again, whatever the fucking game is called, because I saw it in an ancient YouTube video in a past life.
In a past life.
I don't remember when. I don't know. Man,
I know that
when you remember something and can't identify when or how this memory spawned, it's just in another life. I might as well have been a World War II fighter pilot and seen that YouTube video. I don't fucking know. It's just I knew it.
World War II fighter pilot?
In a past life.
You're just 90 years old, like, watching YouTube. You're like, we were here.
Also, this had to have been like 4 years ago, so my past life died recently, and I don't know.
Either way, we were trying forever to find a game. We played Dungeon of the Endless.
Yeah.
and then
You died 3 times.
I died.
Every floor you died.
Actually, I was doing well at the end, and then you died. Or Michael
No, I did not die.
Michael
I didn't die
died.
at all.
Michael died.
'Cause I'm a
and then
fucking baller at that game.
we couldn't play anymore, and then we were like, okay, whatever, we're done because you needed to go or something. And then me and Michael were looking for a game, and we decided to play a co-op game we hadn't played before, and we decided to settle on We Were Here. It's suggested to not use audio programs outside of the game because it gives you walkie-talkies, which I did not know meant that it works like a real walkie-talkie, where if you're talking, you can't hear the person who's talking. So there'd be plenty of situations where I'm talking to Michael, and then I let go, and then he finishes a sentence, and I'm like, oh no.
Michael does have the propensity to just yell over people.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So I was like, oh no. The first puzzle, it was hard because we couldn't... Michael wasn't making the connection that I was.
Well, yeah, you're a genius at puzzles.
No.
Michael has no problem-solving skills whatsoever, unless it involves picking up change on the ground.
You're just gonna assault him like that, dude?
Look, man, I played escape games with that man.
And what?
He's good at figuring out metas, but small problems he can't handle.
Dude, he's gonna destroy you when he hears this. He's just gonna... He's just going to declare war on you and then assassinate
I don't have to prove anything to him because you know I'm a good problem solver. I have fixed 2 of the 3 major problems in this apartment instantly using my quick problem solving skills.
I don't know what problems you're even talking about.
The hole in the sink and the super sensitive fucking
those are fixed, but those are such awful fixes. For the record, we
haven't really been throwing me a bone here.
We have a hole in our sink that we didn't know was here when we moved in, and we covered it up with spare duct tape that Jacob had magically bought before we moved here. And then
it's called being prepared.
And then our smoke detector goes off as soon as you turn a heat source on.
Here's my theory.
Like it's like bugged or something.
Here's my theory. Our fire alarms are so advanced that they run a probability engine inside. So if there's ever 2 out of the billions of probabilities that a fire could start, it'll just warn us.
2 out of...
it
just looks for that many flags.
I thought about making some biscuits and it went off.
It goes off really easily. And so Jacob, instead of us figuring out like having to turn it off or getting it replaced, he put a Ziploc bag over it that's just tight enough that it won't fall off. So it's just completely taken out of commission until that bag's off.
I mean, yeah, we've probably violated our lease. Yeah, we've probably broken a couple fire codes. But you know what? That shit was annoying. Fuck fire alarms. Who invented those?
It was very annoying.
It couldn't send me a text if it's on fire, huh? We've 2019. Does it really need to kill me?
Dude, that reminds me recently. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about when Trump texted everyone and social media was just exploding over that. And I just thought that just imagine if he used it again for something like insignificant.
That's like everybody has made that joke.
But not a joke though. Not a joke though.
It's
like seriously.
At what point does something become a joke and like a serious thing to consider? Like, do you seriously
when we get a text every single day about the flooding up here?
Growing pains, man.
You text me.
It's growing pains.
You text me, dude, those alerts. And I was like, what alerts? And you're like, you'll get them soon enough. And then 3 hours later, my phone is all... And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's a good trick. It's the anticipation that gets you. All right. We were together.
Okay.
Michael's terrible at problem solving.
We were here. Okay, so he couldn't figure the first one out. And I couldn't either because I didn't know what he was looking at. He had like a book with like some problem, like it was color coordination, right? And so I needed to know what color was on the left, what color was on the right, and he didn't understand that I needed to see that. And so we're just arguing with each other for a long time, and we finally figure it out. And I go into the next room, and I guess the timer runs out, and I died. So I was like, okay. So we restarted. We figured that one out way easier. Obviously, the second one, you needed to name like some mythical creature, and that was pretty easy. The puzzle after that, there's not a lot of puzzles that jumped out to me, except there's one where I had to walk through a bunch of hallways and pull levers, and Michael had a map. But as soon as he tried to give me directions, I knew that we weren't going to be able to figure it out. So I had to like start doing it myself in my head. I was like, okay, like, where's the red lever? Where's the blue lever? And then I was like, Michael was like, you just go back to the red door. I'm like, you don't know where that is. Like, I don't have the map, and you don't know where I am. You just know a vague description of where I am. So, that one stood out to me. Another one was he had to watch, like, a VHS tape of, like, chess moves and tell me how to do them, but my character's dying of frostbite while I have to play this chess game.
Frostbite, didn't you?
Yes, it's the frost. The tree started falling over and splitting into 100 pieces of wood.
The highway fell over and flooded, and a Chinese man yelled at you.
And then Sandeep's like, dude, the levolution.
I'm really glad that they perfected Levolution with Battlefield 4 and then abandoned it for 1 and 5.
Did they really perfect it, though? Because those events only happen, like, once.
What is the biggest Levolution event you can think of from Battlefield 1? The sandstorm in that one map that was client-side?
No, what about the one where, like, the avalanche came and, like, destroyed half the map?
That was Battlefield 4. That was the cool-ass map.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that even in Battlefield 4, they were cool.
Yeah.
But they only happen once. They can't happen
But it actually
times.
affected the map, like flooded the map in that China map.
And then in the boats one, it made it to where you couldn't get to half the boats anymore.
Yeah. And then the tropical storm with the islands.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah. Oh, we should play Battlefield 4 again if people are still playing.
It's probably dead.
Really? Because there hasn't been any games that have been...
I mean, Battlefield 1 was a flop. Battlefield 5 was a flop. I mean,
Battlefield Hardline was a flop.
Oh, I forgot that existed. Did I even get any expansions?
Hardline?
Yeah.
I think it got, like, story missions. Dude, all I remember is that they go to, like, a Mexican ghetto in the storyline, and I was like, wow. It's
Are
like
you sure that's not Call of Juarez, the one on the Xbox 360?
Like, I'm back in Fresno. What do you mean? There's a modern Call of Juarez.
Yeah.
Huh? I never played it. Was it good?
Chip and Ironicus played through it, and it's dumb. It's not very good.
I wanted it to be like Narcos Fresno or whatever it is.
The first episode is the only one that's in I think is the one.
Yeah, you had only seen the first episode so far when you told me that, so you were like, I don't know, maybe it'll be more. And I was like, oh, sick. And then someone told me, they're like, no, it's just the first episode. I was like, that stupid guy.
We almost had our chance.
We almost had our chance. Now we have this documentary about meth.
Thanks, Vice.
Yeah, thanks, Vice. We're coming for you, Vice.
Didn't mention once that we were the raisin capital of the world.
That's Selma, not Fresno.
Fresno County.
No. I mean, technically, yes, but...
Sun-made raisins exist there. That means we're relevant. Or we're relevant.
You know, we have, like, a bunch of almonds up here now. That's, like, all they
that
do.
dude's wife was a crazy almond farmer or something.
Yeah, he's, like, a billionaire. But we were here. That was my review. Yeah. The chess game one was cool. The last puzzle. So Michael's like, okay, I'm on a stage. And then some creature starts going towards him. And we couldn't figure it out for so long. And then I figured out the first one. You saw me figure out the first one. And then he was like, oh, you can hear the audio from the second one for the next one. So it's like, oh. And then it took forever for us to keep trying it.
See, from a spectator's perspective, all I saw was you turn some levers until Michael died. And it was great. I would love to play that game.
Yeah, he's just like he's like turn this one this far. No, this far. Turn this one this far. And I can't like put labels on them. So I'm just like, I think this one's this one, and then...
And didn't you see, when you played Black Watchman, you went to that fucking bird puzzle where you had to count the feathers? You figured that out naturally.
Oh my god, dude.
And you couldn't label 8, and you couldn't label 8 levers?
Speaking of Black Watchman, dude, the ending of that game was so difficult that I spent hours.
The, like, vanilla ending or the DLC ending?
No, the vanilla ending. Did you beat it?
No, I got nowhere near beating it.
There's like a creature who's like destroying the universe. And like they're just the FBI is like shooting
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, spoilers for the Black Watchman, a game that sold like 5,000 copies. No, I think it sold like 1 billion copies or something, but not obviously 1 billion, like a ton of copies. Yeah. But like nobody played it past like an hour or so.
Look, dude, I hit that hacking mini game where I had to plant that bug in the dentist office and then just quit because I didn't understand.
That was the hardest puzzle of the whole game.
It wasn't hard because the puzzle itself was hard. It's because you had no way to comprehend what you were supposed to do. It's find a place where the audio levels are just perfect. But like, I'm not in this dentist.
You have to assume that air conditioners are making noise, and like that pipes are gonna make noise too. Yeah. The worst part is that they were like, okay, you gotta play this game to place these bugs on your actual web browser, so it doesn't use the game's volume that you have, so it'll just play full blast because it's a Flash game. And I'm like, this Russian guy is just screaming at me full volume. But the Black Watchman ending was pretty difficult. Not as difficult as that one.
Yeah.
But we solved we solved the stage puzzle, and then there was a hatch for both of us to jump through, and then we got to be with each other and see each other, and we both look like tiny little Eskimos with like parkas on and big old ski mask glasses.
Oh man. If you can't think of the Eskimo word for parka, it's cultural appropriation.
What's the Eskimo word for parka?
Sealskin. I don't know, man.
Jackets. Let's say that, okay? But then there's a door that's locked, and then a lever, and then a switch on the floor, and so only one of you can leave. And then Michael let me leave, and then my character was like, "Was this the only way? Do I really have to leave them there?" And I was like, "What is going on?" And then the story ended, and I was like, I don't really get it. I mean, I know there's a 2, and there's going to be a 3, because the co-op elements were really cool.
Yeah.
I like them.
It's always been a thing that everyone's kind of... The whole, local story-based puzzle co-op thing, that kind of, like a thriller, hasn't really done a lot, because I can think of the Obscure series. There's a Doom mod called Whodunit that was pretty good.
You didn't like the story in Portal 2's co-op?
No, because that game, every time you play that with no matter what, with who, you could play it with your cat, who has no motor skills, and it'll still devolve into, haha, I killed you. Haha, haha, we solved this puzzle and then I did a portal thing, haha, and fucked you, haha.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like most co-op games besides Cry of Fear.
No. Because in the Obscure games, if one of the characters dies, they die for real, and you have to get another character. And each character has a special ability. The Jock Guy special ability is he can sprint, and it's OP.
Wait, what console is this on?
It was originally on the PS2, but it got ported to PC. Obscure 1 and 2.
I feel like I've seen this title before.
It's great. I'm not going to review it now, but it's great, and we should play it.
We.
Oh,
yeah, we do live together now, so
yes.
that's a good reason. Okay, so yeah, that's my review. We were here. It's a good game. I really enjoyed playing it with Michael. Very short. I think we only did like 2 hours. You were like cooking or moving stuff or something while I was playing.
I was just setting this up.
Oh yeah, huh? And then the story was really like lacking in the first one, at least. Yeah. I feel like the second.
It's free to play. It was probably like a thing,
Yeah, it's probably like a tech demo. Then they were like, we have to put something to put some cohesion here. So I was like, cool. But if you guys have a partner you can co-op it with, it's pretty fun.
It's literally free. Just do it.
Yeah, it's literally free. I don't know many free multiplayer games that aren't MMOs.
Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to get into Vindictus for the 18th time.
You told me to replay Vindictus
because you were so desperate. Hey, I walked into the room and you just had tears in your eyes. Like, there's no game.
Until Michael gets Gathering Storm and you get Gathering Storm, there's no games.
I have Gathering Storm.
Because
to be fair, it's not worth it.
I know. It's like, to be fair, it's not that great. Yeah. I'd rather just go back to Rise and Fall.
It's way better than Rise and Fall.
It's way better?
Yeah, like, actual mechanics-wise, it's better than Rise and Fall.
But it's still just not, like, that good.
It's not, yeah. It's just not a full Civ expansion I come to expect from, like, Gods and Kingdoms.
Well, because, I mean, Civ 6 wasn't, like, a full Civ game that I came to expect from, like, Civ 5, and Civ 5 was dog shit, so...
Yeah, see, why can't we just get Civ 4, huh? Let's revive Civ 4. Me and Jacob
re-downloaded it and a mod for it if you want to play
the mod is Caveman to Cosmos.
It's not Caveman to Cosmos.
I'm going to shoot you.
It's not Caveman to Cosmos.
If it's Caveman to Cosmos...
It's not Caveman to Cosmos,
You better not be Caveman to Cosmos. If Jacob even mentions Caveman to Cosmos.
Okay, well then never mind, because I can't describe the mod. It's like Caveman to Cosmos without all the bloat. There's no alpha males, alpha females.
There's no you have to learn the 6 stages of agriculture.
Yeah, no. It's more like just longer Civ with more choices. And then there's like a good diplomacy system.
A longer Civ 4 is just not something.
What do you mean, dude? I've won a Civ 4 game in under like 150 turns.
Remember that mod, or the mod that came bundled into Beyond the Sword that turned Civ 4 into a space game?
Yes, and it was terrible.
I remember trying to play it so many times.
Remember how Alpha Centauri never got a sequel?
Remember how I could never get a crew together to play Pulsar?
That's your fault.
It's not my fault.
That game was like so barren the last time we played it. There's no way you can trick.
It's been 3 years.
You can't trick Michael, Sandeep, or Jacob into the. They're not the type of people you can be. They could be like, "Oh yeah, let's try a game again." You know that for a fact.
I can't even get them to try a game once.
Exactly. Okay, so your review is for what?
Well,
review it.
You remember your second thing. You have 2 things.
Oh well, I mean, but then I'm just talking. They want to hear your voice, your beautiful voice.
I'm inputting. Right?
Okay, so my second thing is I recently replayed GTA 2, which is ironically one of my.
So I'm very unfamiliar with any GTA before 3 for obvious reasons. Which one is the British one?
GTA like 1986 UK is what it's called, or
That's
something.
That's not a mainline game?
No, it is a mainline game. It came out right after GTA 1. It's just called that.
That game was great.
The UK one?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Because what other game do you know that takes place in that time period? Other than No One Lives Forever. What is that James Bond one?
No One Lives Forever.
Yeah,
the girl James Bond one?
Yeah.
Well, true. Okay, that's a good point. But the game is like very...
And then We Happy Few, but that game's ass.
Remember when that game came out and it's like tech demo was like it was like a survival game, and then they were like, no, we're gonna scrap it, we're gonna make it a story game, and then the story game comes out, but it still has like terrible survival elements in it, and it's just like you guys had to choose one. Like you guys had so much potential with this
why make
environment?
A weird single player survival game?
Huh?
Why make a weird single player survival game like that?
Who knows?
What was the comprehension there?
They had a cool theme, and I think they just got lost.
They had a good story.
I think that when the game was in development was when like Rust was big and Conan Exiles, all those like survival games that everyone was always talking about all the time. Yeah. What other games were there though? There's H1Z1 Just Survive, which got closed down.
I mean, there are some story concepts that are just so good that they write themselves. Yes. Dystopian 1986 druggy Britain that writes itself.
Mm-hmm. The story does basically follow all the tropes that you would expect it to.
But why make this giant not obtrusive, but incomprehensible survival system behind it? Why not just have it be like a Corridor thing? Or maybe like a Deus Ex thing, where it's stealth or combat, but you get the choice. I
don't know, man. I don't... Imagine if it was Deus Ex, though.
Literally. Like, I don't get paid for this. I've never made a game in my life, and all I had to say was just make it like Deus Ex, and the game would have been Game of the Year. At least for you.
Dude. I still gotta put my thoughts together in a document to make that Deus Ex video that I always wanted to make.
Alright, well, this isn't the speculation. So GTA 2.
Oh, yeah, GTA 2. So you're unfamiliar with them? You know the top-down games, right? Okay, so... GTA 2, I played it... The first time I ever played it was at my cousin's house. He was older than me, and he had a PS1. And he banned me from playing Siphon Filter because he said it was too violent. But he said I could play GTA 2 when he wasn't at the house. And he went to go run an errand, and I was like, alright, I'm going to play this game. And I think it's like DMA is the name of the company that makes... Either way, they have this logo where their letters spell out that it's a guy. And I always remember the intro sequence because he gets driven by 2 cars. It's a fun game, but it has the thing it has for it that makes it such a great game to me is, you know, that thing that I'm obsessed with where it's like fictional radio stations?
Yes.
Okay, so GTA 2 was the first game I ever encountered that had anything like that. Mm-hmm. Vampire the Masquerade has it. Yep. All the GTAs going forward.
If it has a radio, it has fake radio stations, I believe.
Not really, because
Sleeping Dogs doesn't count because there's not really radio stations.
Yeah, but like racing games too. Yeah, they have songs and they have radio stations that play songs.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about where they like are in world and make their own like rules and like it's world building, right? Yeah. But one of the unique things that GTA 2 did was that all the songs that are on the radio, unlike in GTA 3 and going forward. All the songs that are on the radio are unique and made by the
original.
Yeah, they're original. And some of them are bangers, dude. Yeah. Or who was it that said boppers?
Asai.
No, someone said bopper to me. I think Michael said bopper, and I was about
he got it from Asai.
Acai is how you say it.
Acai. Sorry, what was his name? Aaron? Not Aaron.
Jackie.
I don't remember. It starts with an A.
Aaron Hansen?
No.
From Game Grumps?
Hell no.
Yeah, all the songs are original, which is, like a marvel. And so sometimes I'll still listen to the radio station because I love it so much. The car design in that game, it's like you look at a car and besides like some obvious, like some exceptions, you look at a car and you know what it's designed to do.
Yes.
Like a van is really slow but strong.
Yep.
The same thing with a truck. You can see what the sports cars are.
Decisive design.
Yes, exactly. One of the coolest things is that there's this faction system, and to like beat the level, I think you're supposed to. You have to get like the faction score up, right? And there's 3 gangs in each area. And I think you need to have 2 of them high. You don't need to have the third one because when you up one gang, their rival will usually put you down.
Yeah.
And so until they're like fully hostile, you can still do missions for them, and so you can like balance it out.
They never really returned to that in any of the other GTA games.
Nope.
Unless it's in like Chinatown Wars, which I don't know anybody who played that.
Dude, didn't they port that to the phone too?
Yeah.
It was on DS first, right?
It's weird how also Chinatown Wars got referenced in GTA 4.
How's that weird?
It's so unexpected because I wouldn't even reference Chinatown Wars in anything other than this podcast at this moment.
Any other time besides right now?
Yes.
No, GTA. Well, I didn't play Chinatown Wars, but I mean, I saw no negative press for it. Right? It was like one of those games that nobody played.
It's so weird because it came at a point in time where the DS was
a
still
kid's console.
No, it was still the DS was still in its fad era where it just came out. It looked like a trapezoid spaceship.
It did look
and
like that.
the only thing anyone ever played was what was that chat?
Nintendogs? Oh, PictoChat?
PictoChat. Dude, I was like in middle school playing PictoChat. Fucking drawing dicks.
Dude, how about like the person who always would spend the time to draw the entire white area as black in PictoChat? Be like, why?
I don't know, man.
You did it. That's
yes, I did do it. I know, but I mean, that's because when you have like 2 games and one of them is a Mario Kart DS that you found at a family's Christmas party and like a poker table. What else are you gonna do, man?
Dude, my sister had a 3DS when it first came out, and I think we surmised that it got stolen by someone. But
you have a really bad habit of getting your 3DSs stolen.
Hey, that wasn't my fault, okay? Mine getting stolen was not my fault.
Should have got stronger windows.
Should have got stronger windows. Should have got bulletproof glass, bro.
Yeah, you shot the glass, then Carl did.
They just, and then all they took was like a scented oil, a 3DS, and a broken tablet.
And he doesn't know how to do the homebrew mode. That's always the trick.
They're like, there's no games on this 3DS. Why did he have it?
Oh, I better update.
Oh no. Dang it, I lost my train of thought for GTA 2. Oh, the gangs thing.
Yeah.
It was honestly really cool because all the gangs, besides one, which is like the overarching gang that like controls everything, they're called like the Zaibatsu or something. All of them are like super unique. There's the Yakuza. There's this gang of mentally ill people.
Hold up. There's a gang called the Yakuza. There's the Yakuza and then a gang called the Zaibatsu.
Yes.
That's the same thing. The Zaibatsu is just a company in like a Japanese.
Yeah, exactly.
What? But usually the Yakuza and companies in Japan.
Make the game, dude.
But like that's like having a triad in the Chinese mafia. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, true. But I mean, the Zaibatsu are like the corporate ones who are like, oh, we make the cars and the poison, and then the Yakuza are
it's like having the Cali cartel and the CIA as 2 separate factions.
What a ref. What a ref, dude. I'm going to have to give you props for that one.
It took me a while to think about that.
There's like a gang that's based off Russians. I mean, not Russians. What are they called? What's that stupid... What's that? No, it's not stupid, but...
What?
Communism. There's
Hey.
communists.
Yeah, communism.
There's like a reggae group. They're all cool.
Yeah.
They're all cool and unique. There's 3 areas, and then the game kind of ends. Apparently, the character in GTA 2 is in GTA 3, but that doesn't really matter that much.
No, probably not.
So
there's something I like asking about old games that I did play as a kid but couldn't really comprehend. What's the story of GTA 2?
Of GTA 2?
Yeah.
I mean, there's actually a movie that tells you the story of what happens.
What is the story? Because I played a lot of GTA 1 and 2 just as a kid and just ran around, stealing cars and stuff. But what's the actual story of it?
Well, I mean, all of the missions you do are kind of like random. Like
Yeah.
the Yakuza will be like, hey, we need to escort like 4 people across this line and you need to kill all the cops that are there, whatever. But the actual story is that the main guy works for like the Zaibatsu Corporation, and he's just trying to make a bunch of money, obviously, by playing both sides against the middle. The tagline for the game is that respect is everything. That's one of the big things for what you do for the people. But honestly, there's no like big overarching story. In the movie, though, he gets shot by a Zaibatsu hitman because he's doing too well and they don't want him to succeed. But he survives, obviously, because he's in GTA 3. And that's kind of the ending.
Are you sure they're not communists?
I mean, that's not the gang that kills him.
I mean, that's affirmative action right there.
Oh my God. Just kill him because he's going too high. There's a lot of mechanics in the game that are really cool. I really like the fact that there's different drive-thrus for ways to customize your car, whether it be changing your license plate, getting a different paint job, putting a bomb on it,
Whoa! Who offers that? I didn't know Pep Boys offered controlled explosives.
I mean, they do. It's actually a pretty big
It's like
story.
It's like O'Reilly's.
Yes. No. Pep Boys. No. Jiffy Lube, they do it for you. And then O'Reilly's, you go pick it up after you use the 10% Spotify ad that you got.
Yeah. And then they gotta sell you was it trimming or trifling? What's it called? Where they cut little lines in your tires?
I have no idea.
It's called something, but every time I've gone to get tires changed, and I've gone with like my mom or my grandma, they always do the same demonstration, even though I know what it is, and I tell them no. They're like, "Are you sure?" And then they bring out a fat piece of rubber. It's like, "You need to check this out," and they slap it on the table, and then just scoot it across the table to make the loudest noise ever. You see, it gives more grip. It's like, no, it didn't. It made a loudest noise as you got more grip. Tires have this built in. That's what the lines are. You don't need to make more. It's like a Beyblade. He just slaps it on there and just goes,
tears the table.
If it did, I 100% would have paid more if it fucking tore the table.
I've never had that given to me. I have them where they like, I went
to Les Schwab. They do that at Les Schwab.
No, I went to Les Schwab, and then I was like, hey, I have a hole in my tire. And they're like, oh, we patch tires for free. I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, but maybe you should get your tires replaced. And I'm like, nah.
I think it's only when you do buy new tires from them. They were like, oh. Then he gave me the first time he gave me a big old story about it. He was like, oh, it fell out of vogue for a while, but we're bringing it back. I was like, that's not a positive. It must have gone away for a reason.
It's like my grandpa would have died on the roads.
It's like bringing out bloodletting back. It's like, it went away for a reason, but we're bringing it back. We don't want people to charge for it. It's super exclusive.
We're bringing back leeches.
Well, people still do that. Didn't you see the Wild Boys episode? No, it's not even Wild Boys. It's Jackass 2 where he gets the leech on his eye.
Did I see Jackass 2? Yeah, when I was like 14.
I've seen every Jackass movie in theaters, and it's always with my brother and my
Wasn't
grandpa.
the third one in 3D, or am I insane?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, everybody was pushing that 3D thing during
That was
that time.
that was like the 5-year process.
Spy Kids 3D.
Hell yeah.
Okay, GTA 2, real quick. Every mechanic they had regarding the vehicles, great. Shooting, awful. I hate shooting like that because it's 2D. So it's top down 2D. So wherever your character is aiming is where you're shooting.
It's called siping. That's what the tire process is called.
Siping.
It's called siping.
That's a
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but it's called siping.
spelled how? Like SIPEING?
It's not sipping, so it has to be
sipping,
siping.
yeah. It's not soap or subs. But GTA 2. Seriously. If you haven't played it, I would suggest
All right,
you
so
play
you
it.
beat it. I've never seen more than 10 minutes in the game. What's the ending like?
It just goes to credits.
Wow.
You like stop like an explosion from happening. That's gonna
GTA
kill
3,
you.
you go fight a dam. GTA 4, you beat some black guy on a basketball court. I mean, that is the right choice.
Is that what happens in GTA 4? I thought it was like, no, that's not what happens in GTA 4.
You either beat...
GTA 4, you either let Roman die or some random... or his
No,
wife
you choose
die,
between...
right?
I thought you choose between Playboy and then the guy you actually like.
That's the middle of the game.
That's the middle of the game?
Yes.
I always thought that was the end.
And then you always kill Playboy because you get his mansion.
But then there's that one guy in the thread that's like, no, Playboy was right.
Yeah, that's true. There was always that one guy in the thread who's like, no, Playboy was right. But no, the last mission you have to choose between like money or Roman living. But
I mean, at that point, who's gonna choose not Roman?
I know,
No, wait,
right?
isn't it Roman or his like wife or something?
Yeah, it's or his wife, but one of them you get like a bunch of money for. And you have to like drive a motorcycle.
And driving that game's terrible.
God, the driving in GTA 4 was so bad.
Every time in that first dating mission where you hit the curb and she's like,
She just gets out of she just gets out of the car, runs away. She's like, "Don't ever talk to me again, Nico."
You hit the curb like 2 hours ago, and I didn't even care.
What about that Donkey video where he's like talking to her and the Green Goblin's flying around shooting everything? GTA 2, gang mechanic, great. Play it if you can. If you can't,
It was literally free at one point. I think
I think so.
It might still be free.
I think it was free on GOG.
I'm pretty sure I owned that game like 4 different times.
Play it, and if you can't play it, people listening, if you can't play it because you don't have a PS1 or it won't run on your old newer hardware, listen to the radio station on YouTube. You just search GTA 2 radio, and it's the first one. It's 2.5 hours long all the way through. The music and commercials are great. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
I can really appreciate a game that doesn't have to make its own music, but does. Like another game that I love, House of the Dead Overkill, could have just put in some, Credence. Could have slapped in some generic blaxploitation.
But they made their own music?
Yeah, dude, Violent Guns' theme is great. It's fucking amazing.
You were watching Joel
Yeah,
play it, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
Joel? Okay, so you've been dying to tell me your review.
Okay.
It's a big one, apparently.
It is a big one. I recently started watching Star Trek. Now, my history is I've never seen anything related to Star Trek. My dad was into Star Wars. I wasn't that into Star Wars, but I knew enough about it. And it was just never something I ever got attached to. I've never seen any of the Star Trek movies. I mean, I knew the stuff like Wrath of Khan. I think I've seen a couple scenes of the one with all the Borg.
Nemesis, is it called,
Nemesis?
I think?
Is it the one Tom Hardy's in?
Oh, I don't know.
Tom Hardy is in one of the old Star Trek movies, and I think he's a Borg.
Are you sure it's not The Rock? Because The Rock was in a Star Trek episode where they had like gladiator games and
I don't know.
The
I
Rock
haven't gotten
was
to
in
that point yet. So I started watching Star Trek: The Next Generation because that's just my age group. That would be the Star Trek I would have watched if I watched it growing up. But I don't know, man.
Are you sure though? Because I thought I saw more Voyager on TV.
I don't know.
Okay, go on.
Voyager, Deep Space Nine. Who cares? I don't. Definitely I don't. Because one, I've heard mixed feelings of Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
I have seen mixed feelings of Deep Space Nine, but not of Voyager. I feel like Voyager, people's complaint was that it had too much Borg in it.
I think Voyager, everyone hated the captain. I think Voyager is the one where actual war crimes happened.
Well, I mean, what are we to define war crimes? Remember earlier when you were like, "What's the opposite of a crime?" I was like,
you still couldn't think of it.
Boon, reparation, war reparation. Is reparation the opposite of a crime?
No, because reparation means you've already committed the crime and are trying to pay it back. What's the opposite of breaking a law? Making one?
No.
A legislate?
No, that can't be the opposite of breaking the law. Following the law? War abidance?
Okay, well, I'm not gonna get that's a far more anti-Semitic conversation than we're willing to get. So I started watching Star Trek TNG. Now, my initial thoughts going in, or how much I knew about Star Trek TNG was Picard's cool, Riker's a badass. Reading Rainbow Man's blind and he's in it. Oprah Winfrey shows up at some time, and I guess she's a major character.
Oprah Winfrey.
Not Oprah Winfrey. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg. And everyone hates Wesley.
No, dude, he saved everybody like 3 times total.
I'm gonna get into that. Now, I don't like Will Wheaton. There's a lot of people who don't like Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton comes off as pretty insufferable, and from what I've read, he is actually that insufferable. So, but I mean, I don't know him personally. Whatever, who cares? I knew everyone hated Wesley, and shout out to our boy David, who confirmed that thought when I told him I was watching Star Trek TNG.
What'd he say?
Fuck Wesley.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So, I've got an episode list here, because my memory is not spot on, and I'm not going to recall every episode by memory. I'll just go down the list and just talk about special episodes.
Your Netflix Stepsisters is now.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Whatever happened to the MTV show about high school liberals murdering people?
How about as soon as you said liberals, I thought of that show. I don't know why.
It's the web where it's 2 people, or it's 2 girls walking up, and then one of them has like a switchblade and goes, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." Yeah,
I don't know what happened to that show. What was even the name?
I don't know. That was so weird. All right, so first 2 episodes, a 2-parter called Encounter at Farpoint. There's a plot synopsis here, but I'm going to try to go with it off of the top of my head because it's going to be way more funny if I do that. The crew of the Enterprise go to a Farpoint starbase to pick up their new first commander, Riker. Some very competent, hotshot lieutenant, like second in command. And they also pick up Wesley and the doctor, which is his mother. Now, they get them, and immediately when they leave the Farpoint base, they get intercepted by some fucking space god named Q. I don't know who the actor is, but he's great. And the character of Q is pretty good, and it establishes the banter-filled diplomatic service that Star Trek is about. However, the actual plot and events of this 2-parter are completely stupid. I'm going to say right now that this 2-parter is not a great introduction to the series.
Okay.
So Q has a bone to pick with humanity, as anybody who watches TNG will soon realize that any other alien race, no matter how humanoid they are, doesn't like humanity because of the concept that humanity sucked once.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't make any sense, because everybody sucked once.
Of course.
Every single alien superior entity is walks up to Picard and goes forcibly either enters their ship or just yells at it from a distance. Well, I don't want to talk to you humans because humans did all these things in their past, like slavery and war and stuff. But like, everybody does that, man. Come on.
Yeah, it doesn't seem kind of weird that most of the aliens in Star Trek, that especially from the episodes I've watched, have done things on par with humanity, but they still hold the grudge against them, like they're the ones. Like that dude, that episode we watched today, he killed an innocent guy on the ship, and was going to kill more of them, and then he's like, "Humans are too aggressive," and I was like, "What?"
Exactly,
like, dude.
So it's a very common thing that keeps coming up, which is one of my big problems with Star Trek is they just keep reusing plot devices, but this is the first 2-part episode, and they heavily base this where Q's just like, so first thing Q does, he wants to test humanity. He wants to put them through this game that he's obviously cheating at, and he puts them in the past that is Federation past, but it's our future where humanity is some dystopian. And the first thing that caught me and Michael, who was watching it with me at the time, weird how he's tying us together here, is that I guess in the close future / the Federation's distant past, I guess a viable security weapon was wrist-mounted flamethrowers that go the distance of a small handheld torch. I really don't think that's a good security weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, batons, a club, way more effective at dispensing your own brand of justice.
Mm-hmm.
Less chance of explosion or burning yourself and the things around you. Also, way more range, because the handheld flamethrowers they show in these first 2 episodes go out like 2 inches. I could probably get a lighter and then do that stupid trick that everybody's older brother teaches them, where, oh, look, I can make the flame go out. Ooh, look at it.
Okay, so...
Which reminds me of that time. There's a time in my woodshop class where someone wanted to make a fire to show how cool they were, so they took out their phone battery and got some steel wool from the back.
Ooh.
And completely ruined their battery. All I had to say is, we've all seen Man vs. Wild. This didn't impress any of us.
That reminds me of, in my woodshop class in middle school, some guy wanted to prove he was tough. So he, purposely kept, trying to stab himself with the soldering iron.
Why?
I don't know.
Soldering iron's not even a sharp object.
I know. That's all it did was burn him really badly. And then the teacher was like, oh, this kid's got to get expelled. And they kicked him out. And I was like, you did nothing. You proved nothing.
Yeah. Everyone puts their hand in the vice and see how far they can do it because, it's a test of strength, man. I gotta show I got big cojones. But why would you put your hand on a...
Dude, I wish we had a vice right now. You just put, your joints that hurt in it and then clamp it down really hard. That's got a cure,
What's
right?
wrong with you?
That's what chiropractors do, isn't it?
And you think chiropractors are legitimate?
Yes.
They aren't. Sorry to break it to you.
Haven't you seen those videos do 3+ hours of back cracking noises?
That just makes me uncomfortable. That doesn't prove that it helps.
You ever pop your back before?
Do
you not pop your back?
I mean, I stretch.
Do you never pop your back?
How am I supposed to pop my own back? Other than stretching. Like twisting.
All right, we have to have a discussion after this podcast about you popping your back.
I mean, you know the history behind chiropractic, right?
No. I don't care
Some
either.
random snake oil salesman makes his own college and pretends he's... I don't actually, have the solid facts here. But, it's like a giant quack profession.
If you don't have the solid facts, why are you talking about it then? Out your ass.
Because I'm pretty sure this is true.
Dude, it's proven to at least alleviate some types of things. Obviously, it's not going to be the greatest. It's the worst medicine in the world, but
I mean, maybe, but it's definitely not a cure a lot of people think to be.
I don't think it's that. I'm just saying, popping your joints feels good.
Yeah, but it might just be the effect of stretching.
Stretching
feels good.
Go on about your Star Trek.
All right. So Q does this stupid game. And a principal character that we'll talk about more, the security officer Yar, I think that's her name. She gets frozen, not to death, but half to death. She gets turned into a half. She gets turned into half ice cube. Picard's pissed because you hurt one of the crew. Yeah, that's his responsibility. Understandable. And then they have this weird game where Picard just has to convince Q that humanity has gone past it and that they're worthy of not being annihilated. Obviously they win. Q gets butthurt, leaves, and the Enterprise gets out. And the only thing that gets proven in the episode is that there are greater sentient beings out there and they hate humanity and Picard's a badass. And Riker is a manly man.
These are themes I know will come up again in the future.
Many times, practically every episode. The two-parter's not great. The fact that I can't remember anything beyond that indicates that it's not very good.
Of course.
Second episode, The Naked Now. I don't think that's very good because I don't remember it. Oh, no, actually. I do remember it now. So The Naked Now is basically what happens in the episode is the Enterprise finds a derelict ship that is completely frozen over by some disease.
Yeah, you told me about this.
And the disease makes you party so hard that you expel energy until you freeze.
Okay, I have no idea what that means exactly.
Obviously that's so weird. And as a second episode to your diplomatic Star Trek show, having a weird quarantine where everybody starts sweating and then partying. Oh man, this first season really starts off on a weird foot. We learn from what I remember from this episode, Geordi's a cool guy. Reading Rainbow Man's name is Geordi.
Oh yeah, Geordi.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Saw him in the Sherlock Holmes episode.
Yeah, and also the writers are very, very eager to put Wesley in very odd situations. Like, everybody's starting to, like, party and drink and shit, and Wesley's, like, getting super excited about fiddling with a tractor beam. But, like, you're questioning whether it's gonna start hitting him. Like, is he gonna start drinking and shit? Like, what the fuck's gonna happen here? But he doesn't. Code of Honor. Oh, God. The show gives really mixed signals when it tries to, like, say something. So the episode Code of Honor is about a planet where the ruling class is all about masculinity. And the leader of the planet, like the not the emperor, but like the big tough guy, falls in love with Lieutenant Yar. And they have to like walk on eggshells to like give him proper respect and honor so they have a chance of getting her back. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the episode, Commander Yar has to battle this other chick to marry him. But she doesn't actually want to marry him, the Yar. She doesn't actually want to marry him. She just wants to get, I forgot exactly. I think it's vaccines.
Hold up, we've got someone dying. Apparently,
someone's either getting arrested, someone's dying, or college kids are having some fun time.
Very, very sorry, guys. We live in a very sound dense area now.
I mean, we live in a college town, and I'm just gonna say that I saw college kids getting drunk and jumping off their balcony at like 4 p.m. on a Thursday.
Yes.
Beer pong.
What about when I'm gonna come home tomorrow and it's gonna like
next door? Yeah. It's very common to drive through town and just see midday games of beer pong
in front of people's houses.
Both of us went to college. Neither of us find this normal.
It's like up to 11 here. Like, I saw people that were at a party that it seemed like they weren't allowed to go into the house, so they were all like 40 people all standing just on the stairs and front porch of a house, and I was like, why don't you just be on the lawn? Why would you not want to move somewhere else? Like, why would you still okay the party if you can't go inside the house?
And they guaranteed 3 nights a week where 2 girls who live down the street get drunk and then pretend they're dying.
Oh my god, whoever those women are, the next time I hear it, I'm actually probably going to call the cops because they're just screaming so loud, like they're dying or being attacked. The first time I was
genuinely worried.
Yeah, like, so was I. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. And I was like, all right, screw these women.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is there like a certain period of drunkenness you can get to that's normal behavior?
Where you just regress into a baby?
Even worse.
No, I think they're just doing it because they think it's funny to annoy people.
I can understand that. I used to grief jailbreak servers, but the whole point of annoying people is to see their reaction. Being loud and annoying and then just sitting there thinking about how people could be reacting, that's just dumb.
Yes.
And it makes me want to go get him.
Go get him.
Go get him, champ. Go get him.
Up and at them.
Just be like, what the fuck? What's going on here, man? Women.
Okay.
Gotta be respectful. Unlike this episode of Star Trek. So, entire episode, they're like building up to a point where obviously nobody on the Enterprise agrees with this society.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to play to it because, they're Federation. They got protocols. They gotta be peaceful. They gotta get whatever they want off of this guy. So she's like... But then, like, over the episode, it's a common theme of just the other, the psychiatrist, Troy, Commander Troy, Deanna Troy, is just like, you're attracted to him, though, and she's like, yes, of course. I'm like, what? This person kidnapped you, and, like, is forcing you to fight to the death for his marriage. And you still find him attractive?
You never seen that trope before in, like, media where women are just like attracted to people who treat them like dog shit?
I guess I wasn't expecting it to come from Star Trek, which attempts to be highbrow, but I mean, fucking Troy, Jesus. Someone who is just so timelessly hot that it makes me uncomfortable. Like,
timelessly.
Like, there's every decade you have an image of like the stereotypical hot chick of that decade, like 70s. You got like blonde farm girl, right?
No.
Or what? That's not it.
That's not
what is your quintessential 70s hot chick then?
No one was hot in the 70s to me.
Excuse.
I wasn't alive. First of all,
no.
Second of all,
no. You think about the culture and theme.
In the culture 70s. And theming, it definitely wouldn't be a farm girl.
Well, no, like bell bottoms, long blonde hair, those weird like.
No, mine would be Mila Kunis from that 70s show.
Yeah, like skinny bell bottoms.
So what your name?
Like weird puffy hair.
You're saying a woman in the 70s. You just said a farm girl. That's
no,
nothing
but
like what
you think of this. If I was gonna go out in the 70s and look at a shelf of pornography,
please don't do this.
What would be the most common?
Ron Jeremy would be
other than Ron Jeremy. What would be the most common female style or look I would find?
Yeah,
tall girl, long blonde hair, bell bottoms.
What you're describing, yes, that would be fine. I guess
that's what I mean. And then 80s, you got aerobics, puffy hair, curly hair. I think I don't know.
Not blonde, dude, the 80s rocked.
This is where fake tits became in vogue. And then 90s, it got pushed to the extreme. And then 2000s. I mean, we grew up in 2000. Everybody knows that. I mean. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay, I get what you mean.
And Deanna Troi, she's so hot that she transcends that whole concept. She's still hot today. A girl could walk outside who looks like Deanna Troi in the same style and still be hot.
This is the doctor who can be like, ooh,
she's half alien who can feel emotions and read thoughts if she tries hard. So, it's weird because... What was I again? I was talking about the stupid Code of Honor shit.
It's weird that she's attracted to him.
Yes. It's weird how that... They've clearly themed this episode that this whole society based on, masculinity is backwards. And then just every woman who should be appalled by it isn't. They're just like, oh yeah, this is their culture and I am attracted to them. Like, really? Really? I get it, big, aggressive, in control, in command guy. But usually that goes out the window once kidnapping is involved.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing that people are into serial killers. Because you think the murder part would be the deal breaker. And any sort of personality quirk or personality strength would go out the window once murder is involved, or kidnapping, or
rape.
Death fighting for marriage. Oh god. And the weapon of choice, she uses this weird spike. It's like an armadillo on your arm with spikes, and they're heavily poisoned, and I guess if you even look at a spike you die. Because it gets thrown across the room and a guy catches it and then he dies 10 seconds later. And everybody's appalled for 2 seconds.
And they just let him die.
Yeah, completely. Okay. And then and then the end of the episode is so the entire death battle is based on the concept of whoever kills the other person gets to marry him, and that's the contract. So how they break it is Yar wins, kills the chick that challenged her to fight in order for this dude's marriage, and then they beam her back up to the starship and revive her, which is I guess that's a legal precedent. I mean.
I guess so.
I guess so. I guess that's how it works. He's pissed, and then the chick that died marries someone else, cucks him, makes him her second husband, and then everybody's happy. Weird episode. As sort of time, I'm just gonna kind of skim through these. Q returns in episode 10. I really appreciate the fact because he returns in this episode in the beginning as a 3-headed snake and a glowing orb, and there's nothing I appreciate more than non-Euclidean god designs.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to think of a cosmic entity that's all-powerful as this Q shit is, obviously I want to see some crazy Abrahamic angel, 6 eyes and 4 cherub faces.
I mean, that's definitely fair.
Yeah.
I mean, the other more powerful being that we saw earlier looked like bad CGI, so...
And I told you that it would be completely believable If a giant, terrifying space being looked like terrible CGI, because
Yes.
that would be scary as fuck. I'd be shitting myself.
What if he looked like bad CGI because he was actually CGI from another like being, like
See, dude, that's big brain think right
like
there.
the big head from Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz, right? Am I having a stroke right now? I can't remember the name of the Wizard of Oz. It's the book is called The Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
right? Okay, never mind. Forget what I was saying then.
All right, the episode "Lonely Among Us" that has the biggest philosophy I've ever had. So, a being that's consists of electromagnetic energy possesses Picard and like melds with him, and they fall in love with each other. At least that's what he says. And because they both believe in exploration and want to explore the universe together. So he basically commits suicide by beaming himself into a nebula to turn himself into a being of energy. And they solve the problem by saving a copy of his last transporter like information, because the transporter encodes you into data, and I guess
because
if you're the last person to transporter, you can like recreate that person. And they recreate him before he melded with the being. And I'm just sitting here like, wait a second. So there's another weird melded Picard floating around in a nebula somewhere, and you've just copied like a save state of him, and that's your new commander?
I mean, they do that a lot, like it seems in Star Trek. Like not that exactly, but use that premise, that thought process, because energy is matter. They found ways to do that, so like...
Yeah, but this raises so many questions. Like, maybe I missed something in the episode. Maybe they didn't actually do that. Maybe they just returned actual Picard without the entity. But when I first saw it, that did not come across. How they explained it when fucking Worf is on the fucking transporter, and he was like, oh, you see, he was the last person... Actually, I don't think it was Worf. I think it was Yar. Or Geordi, I don't remember. But the person behind the transporter console was like, oh, because he was the last person to use the transporter, we can just rematerialize him before he was melded. And I'm like, so you just copied your commander and he's just in charge now. What if the other commander rematerializes and come back? And you make multiple copies of Commander Picard? You got backups?
I mean, they did say it was because he was the last one.
Yes. But does that work in all cases? What if 5 people beam out at the same time? Do you have these 5 copies? Is it...
Listen, all I know is that a common point when people talk about like Star Trek and stuff is the fact that when you transport, it turns your your matter into energy, and then recreates that matter. It's not the same matter.
No, that's like fucking can of worms. The old fucking teleporter question.
Yes, exactly. But that's always comes up for Star Trek because they reference it a lot.
But in Star Trek, it's clear that these people who are transporting are the same people, or it would be a way bigger issue than it is.
Well, no, it wouldn't be that they are the same person. It would be that they believe they are the same person. Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters, right? Is that when you get transported, you have the same consciousness you have, right? Yes. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if all of your cells basically died and then were re-brought back to life. You didn't experience that, and you don't remember that, and neither does anyone else.
Yes.
So, like, it doesn't matter.
But in this case,
in this case, other people do remember, and that's the point, right?
And there is, in theory...
Another one
out there. And that's the problem here.
Yes, I understand.
Because this person has very clearly died or transfigured himself majorly.
Listen, if he's thrown himself into a nebula, is he going to live?
I mean, he wanted to. If I was someone on Starfleet or in that station and Picard was like, I love this thing that has possessed me and I want to become a nebula. That's his prerogative, man. He can do whatever he wants. Crazier people have done worse in Star Trek. Let's start. Oh, another shout out to David. I told him this.
Can you stop?
Sorry.
Throwing your phone all the time.
So there's a very common trope that I believe is just in all Star Trek, where every single person visiting from Starfleet is a massive cunt.
Yeah, you said this to me too. They always show up and cause problems.
They always show up. They're always assholes, and they always cause so much damage that is so needless. At some point, you just want someone from Starfleet to come onto the ship, see all the crazy shit that's happened, Like, literally, the Enterprise is the first recorded interaction of a non-carbon-based life form. They find crystal beings. That's a big deal. And they send the report to Starfleet. Like, no one's going to come onto the ship and be like, wow, Picard, you're really competent. You've done some great shit. And no, it's always, Picard, I don't like you. I'm your superior. I'm in control of this ship. I have a very important mission. I'm not going to tell you all the information. And I'm going to put everyone in danger. And at the end, it's still going to be your fault. Fuck you, Picard. It doesn't need to happen. Like, I get it. Federation is a giant bureaucratic government. It still has the problems that other bureaucratic governments are, but everybody, every single person they get, from some starbase they're visiting, some negotiator that they're just transporting, like, they have nothing involved. They're just transport for a negotiator. The negotiator's like, fuck you guys. Fuck, I want this done. I need this done. I want you guys to do this. Get this man off the... I want to be on the bridge, even though I'm not supposed to be on the bridge. Fuck you. Like, what? Just nobody can understand that fucking protocol, man. Why do you gotta be a dick? This is supposed to be some advanced society where people have put aside their biases and shit, and everybody's just a dick.
These Starfleet people are just customers. Just
it's like
customers.
It's like Picard's the cashier, and each of these guys are wondering if this is still on sale or their $20 battery is still happening.
What a terrible reference. So who do they call on board in this episode?
Let me just look at the laundry list. Okay, so Code of Honor. Nope. Oh, episode 6, where no one has gone before. They invite a scientist or a Federation official and his assistant to test new methods of breaking the warp barrier. So, there's warp 1 through 10, but the highest they can go is 10. And this guy's like, no, I've got a method that goes beyond 10. And everyone's like, all right, how does it work? And he's like, all right, here's how it works, but none of you can comprehend it. This is all beyond you. Don't even ask. And then Wesley, because they're trying to build up Wesley as like a prodigy, is like, that doesn't make any sense. And everybody's just like, fuck, shut up, Wesley. And fucking, this guy's just an asshole for no reason. They've invited you onto their ship to do this test, and they're very, very cooperative. Why be an asshole? I get having an ego, but I know a lot of people with egos, and they aren't assholes all the time. They're only assholes when you challenge the ego. If this person is a scientist, and he genuinely wants it, and in the episode, it is very clear that he cares about his work. Having someone ask how his work works
should compel him to be excited about it, right?
And obviously, in the end of the episode, it's not him. All of his math was nonsense. It was actually his assistant, which is some... remember the plot to Interstellar? Where the ghost being...
I guess, yes.
The ghost future human being that mastered all... So that's basically the same thing as this episode. There's a time travel. The scientist assistant is a time traveler. He's super advanced. He's like trying to explain how concepts of time and space aren't separate things.
Wait, that's not Interstellar. Wait,
that is Interstellar.
What's the one with Matthew McConaughey?
It's Interstellar.
Aren't you talking about the one with the time beings and
the movie where Matthew McConaughey goes into the black hole?
Yes.
And does the stupid sand shit in his daughter's room.
And he becomes a bookcase.
Is Interstellar.
Yes.
Yes, that is the movie.
That's what you're referencing.
That's what I'm referencing. In the same movie, not Emma Watson, it's, what's the chick that was in Princess Diaries?
I don't know. You are mixing movies up.
No. So when they're going through the wormhole...
Oh, you mean Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway.
No, not Anne Hathaway.
When they're going through the portal, Anne Hathaway sees like this weird being, and that is supposed to be humanity in the future when they're advanced.
Okay. I thought you were explaining
in
something
that same
else.
movie, the old British guy.
That's not Anne Hathaway. Is it Anne Hathaway?
It is Anne Hathaway.
Are you sure it's not?
Interstellar has the soundtrack where it's like, bang!
No, yes.
Bang!
No, Anne Hathaway isn't in Interstellar. Isn't it the chick who was in...
It's not Emma Watson, because that's what I thought.
No, isn't it the chick who was in Star Wars?
No, it's not what's her face? The Rey chick. It's not her. It's Anne Hathaway because she was in Princess Diaries.
No, not the Rey chick. The one who played Padme Amidala.
No,
Natalie Portman.
It's not Natalie Portman. It's Anne Hathaway.
Okay.
Because Anne Hathaway has short hair in the movie.
Okay, go on.
Anyway, so it's the same concept. Future humanity has ascended so past that they have time travel, and then this assistance guy is doing that exactly. And he was doing this because he wanted to travel, I think. He wanted to explore. And the only way he could explore is if he tricked a vessel into going beyond Warp 10. So they get sent to the outer rim of the universe. They get sent to this crazy reality warping dimension. This is a great episode because I love this shit. I love reality warping, weird mind tricks, and just anything that is beyond the cusp of human comprehension. I will devour that.
Okay.
What was my original point? Oh, the guy was a dick.
Yeah, the guy was.
The guy was a dick for no reason. He gets shown that he knew absolutely nothing he was talking about. So the entire last 30 episode, he's just kind of a wet noodle. Like, I'm sorry.
So how many episodes are in this season?
22.
Okay, so are there any other standout ones?
Other episodes where random people come onto the ship from Federation are just assholes. Ooh, the episode I showed you last night with all the parasites.
Was that in season 1?
That was season 1. It's episode 25, Conspiracy. So they hinted at this before, where one of Picard's old friends came out of the ship and was like, Picard, I want you to do something because I think there's a conspiracy afoot. I want you to be the leader of Starfleet Academy and shape young minds because I want someone I can trust in that position. And he says no because the show has to go on and Picard loves his Enterprise. And in episode 25, it comes back where another old friend of Picard's calls him and on some secure channel and is all like, I need to speak to you in private. Meet me at this planet. And so he gets together with 2 other random Starfleet officers that are supposed to be big deals, but you never heard about them or hear about them again, for reasons I will tell you in a second. That there's that Starfleet has been passing weird laws and weird directives and just things have changed and people are starting to act weird. And then 10 seconds later, his old friend that told him this ship just explodes. For no reason. Sabotage assumed. It's in pieces. So Picard goes back to Earth, back to Starfleet to figure out what the hell is going on. And he learns that parasites have started infecting top Starfleet brass. So he gets trapped. They're trying to turn him into. They eat some bugs. And then Riker comes in pretending to be having this parasite, pretending to be indoctrinated. And then just starts shooting everybody. So earlier in the episode,
so he just genocides these people.
Well, earlier in the episode they determined that you can't remove the parasites without killing the host, and they're very strong, so you have to use your phasers on kill for them. So when he goes in, starts shooting people, and then gives Picard a phaser, I assume that these were all on kill, and all these people just fucking died.
Yeah, he just murders all of them. Yeah.
And these are all high Starfleet brass. Picard brings up a very good reason in the beginning and goes, well, I can't just walk into Starfleet armed. But Picard does. Not Picard. Riker does. How do they explain all these dead Starfleet officials? I mean, obviously they're going to tell them about the parasites. But, killing Starfleet's youngest commander and some of the oldest, most top affiliated brass for any reason probably doesn't go over well.
Yeah, but he's Picard.
But he just walked into an office and Charlie Hebdo'd that shit.
My God, Jacob, please.
I mean, you didn't see the episode. Fucking they're eating and then Riker just stands up and just fucking
Riker's a good guy.
Hard iron, big iron, Tony Robbins fucking assumes the stance.
It's Marty Robbins.
Marty Robbins, sorry.
He just goes,
big iron.
He just dead eyes everyone.
Oh, and then they go into that separate room, and some inspector that was in an earlier episode that was also a giant asshole is just sitting there what's up, guys? You have any questions? And then they just blast him. But every other person that they've phasered either kill or like stunned. When you kill them, they fall over. But when Picard and Riker shoots this guy, he gets insta-gibbed like it's a fucking match of Unreal Tournament 2K4. Like, he explodes, and then a giant penis worm comes out of his chest, and then they shoot that too.
I remember this because you made me watch this scene, and the look on Picard's face, he's like so devastated. He's like...
Like, this aired in like 1992, and David literally showed me afterwards that it didn't even air in the UK and had a warning in Canada. Why did they go so hard for that?
Maybe they thought that the show was gonna end or something, and like
Star Trek I mean, I don't know the context in which the episode originally aired. Maybe TNG wasn't doing too hot. Maybe they didn't have too much confidence in it, or maybe just they got like John Carpenter on the set and was like, "Dude, you want to do something fucked up?"
Dude, that'd be crazy if John Carpenter did it. This runs a similar theme to. You ever seen The Outer Limits? And you ever seen Stargate?
No, I've never seen Stargate.
Kind of similar thing. Stargate was kind of like Star Trek, except it was like they're really gritty about killing people all the time.
Yeah. It's just, it was so out of character. It literally took me aback. Like, you heard me yelling when it happened. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then you came and got me. You were like, hey, you have to see this. What just happened in this episode?
It was so goddamn weird. Oh, also in the first season, you remember Lieutenant Yar? She dies.
Yeah, you said that.
So, I actually have context on this, because I do watch Red Letter Media, and Mike from Red Letter Media mentions this, because the actress who plays Lieutenant Yar starred in a B movie they watched. Apparently, she didn't like being in Star Trek, so she wanted to like expand her career, and then only was in like 2 movies. You think with the history of Star Trek that if you kept with it, you would make mad royalties.
Well, you got to think though, because the history, quote unquote, of Star Trek. This is the second series of Star Trek.
I thought it was the third. Like, didn't the original Star Trek run like for so long?
Yeah, the original Star Trek went for a while, but then there was nothing, and then there was the Next Generation.
But then there was like 3 very popular movies in between.
I don't know if they were very popular.
Wrath of Khan is like a classic.
I don't see people say that movie is good. I have not seen people say that movie is good, actually.
What?
I seriously, in my experience, have not seen people say that movie is good. I haven't
seen Wrath of Khan, but the cultural significance of it, that doesn't mean...
I doubt that it's a bad movie. What happens in it? What's so culturally significant about it?
I do actually know the basic plot synopsis of this.
Yeah, Khan is like some time traveling guy, right?
No, he's in like... I thought... No, I don't think he was that.
Because he's in the Star Trek new movies.
I thought that what happened was... Khan had some beef with Spock because I guess they don't like each other because Vulcans or something. And so he gets revenge. He kills Spock. And then, what's his name? What's the main guy's name from the original Star Trek?
The main guy?
Yeah.
William Shatner is his actor.
Yeah, William Shatner's the actor. But why can't we think of it?
Come on.
Sorry,
guys. We're not Trekkies.
I've seen only 1 season of TNG so far.
I don't know. What is it? What's his name? William Shatner's character.
Why can't I think of this?
Whatever.
It's so significant.
Who cares? Go on.
It's escaping my brain.
What's your story though?
Okay. And then he kills Spock. I think Spock gets revived later anyway. I mean, he gets revived 6 times. And then William Shatner's character kills Khan, and then he does the big Khan, or he does the big Khan thing after Spock dies. That's the general gist of the movie. Okay. And then I think some planet gets destroyed too. I think the plot of the movie is a planet gets destroyed. Khan wants to reseed a planet and kill Spock. It's very hard to describe a movie you've never seen. Okay.
So what's your opinion on the first season of the Next Generation?
If I could accurately... So before I went to Star Trek, I had the general knowledge, or Picard was a badass. But at the end of the episode, Picard's great, Riker's great, I don't hate Wesley yet. So far in the first season, he just comes off of some kid who is really passionate and interested in being on a starship, which I imagine anybody would. Like, any kid or anyone, it's not hard to imagine a kid being passionate about being on a cool-ass starship and doing all this cool shit and wanting to learn. And he's good at it. That's not against his character. But in season 2, he's on the bridge all the time. I could see so far, I'm like 4 episodes into season 2, I could see where he starts getting annoying. And romance plots as well. They hint on a lot of romance plots. Like, Picard is really into Wesley's mom, which is really awkward. Riker wants to bang literally everybody.
Well, he's a manly guy.
Yeah, he's a manly guy. And he does literally bang everybody. I think every time he meets like a female on another planet, it's just instantly they're banging. Oh, dude. Speaking of banging, there's an episode in season 1 that I told you about where they go to a pleasure planet and they beam down the away team and they bring Wesley. And just that concept. In the bridge, Riker describes the planet as, oh, these people are super, super carefree, super happy, and they make love at the drop of a hat. And then you bring the 13-year-old kid with you down the...
Well, I mean, to be fair, later on in that episode, he ends up killing a flower, and then they put him to death. So.
Yes, obviously, but is Mama's cool with that?
I mean, she's a doctor. Maybe she wants him to start young.
I don't know Starfleet or the general culture of Starfleet's opinions on sex and age of consent.
Yeah, maybe there's no age of consent in Star. I don't want to argue.
I
this
really
point.
highly
I don't
doubt
want to
that.
say. Like,
I highly doubt. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's just God.
You were like so torn about this.
No,
dude.
because I'm trying to comprehend the meaning behind these characters and their actions.
But it's like a variety show. That's like the specialty of Star Trek, right? Is that?
Well, I guess it's just the type of person I am. I get hung up on these weird plot contrivances.
Yeah, it's why you like Supernatural.
Weird. So, because they have no inclination of knowing how they're going to treat Wesley because they don't meet any kids, and when they go down there, it's a surprise when they tell them, oh, all the kids are over here in this area, which I think there was like a palace or like a church or something, and they just play games, but they didn't know that before. If you go down to a planet and assume that everyone's banging at the drop of a hat and then bring a 13-year-old, it wouldn't be reasonable to assume that if he meets another 13-year-old, they're going to be banging at the drop of a hat.
True. So
I just have to assume that they were okay with that. And then pleasantly surprised when that didn't happen. And then they do a fake out so Wesley's like hanging out with all the kids and they're like playing like ball games and stuff. And this girl comes up and is like, I want to do something else. I want you to show me something. And obviously they're implying that they're implying it. And I'm just like, no, please don't. Please don't do it. Because I don't want to see Will Wheaton in any romantic capacity, fictional or not. And thank God they don't. He just says, okay, I'll teach you how to play a ball game, but we need a stick. And then he breaks a stick and then gets condemned to death.
That was great. That was the greatest part.
Hey.
So you would recommend the first season?
Yes. Everything that I love about like 90s sci-fi, just space. Like I love Rama, the old PC game. I love just that synthy heavy soundtrack, the old CGI, and it's such a refreshing course seeing a diplomatic show, which is what Star Trek is all about. When in an episode in season 2 where they summon an evil Moriarty, there's some writer on this show that loves Sherlock Holmes, because there's so many episodes about Sherlock Holmes, because Data, the android character,
it's gotta be Data's thing, right?
Yeah, he read all of Sherlock Holmes in a fraction of a second, and he likes Sherlock Holmes, but it keeps coming up. And no other characters have that, other than, I guess, Wesley and him being super smart. There's an episode in the first episode of season 2 where Deanna Troi has a child, a space child, that, like, one day she's not pregnant, and then she's pregnant and has a child, and then the child grows up to 8 in, like, the series of, like, 12 hours. And then the child dies because it's just, like, an alien being who wanted to learn about humanity. And Deanna Troi's, like, super torn up about it, because her child has died. And it's never brought up again after that. But Data's love of Sherlock Holmes has multiple episodes where it's the focus.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because it's his thing, right? Like it's
his
just,
thing.
It's their
Data's
move,
thing
right?
is that he's an android and he's supposed to see things with the passion of a child, but the intellect of a highly advanced computer, and that's very good. He's a very good character. I enjoy a lot of the things he's involved in. It's just so weird for a show that is so not procedural, but where it's every episode is supposed to be contained story. That his thing with Sherlock Holmes is the most consistent one, and not the death of Deanna Troy's space child. Or like, oh god, what's another one that is serious that doesn't come up? Shit. I can't think of it. So, I guess I'll just leave it at that. Star Trek's great. I'm going to keep watching it. I'm probably not going to watch Voyager or Deep Space Nine, and I'm probably not going to watch any of the Borg movies, but I'm definitely going to go as far as the show as I can.
Sounds good, and I enjoy watching it with you. Not as much as you like by yourself, but... So, do you have any closing remarks for anything? I feel like you've given us a pretty good idea of Star Trek.
Fuck the government. If anything Picard has shown me is fuck the government.
He's shown you that.
Just fuck Federation. Just follow the policies, but if any commander decides to tell you, you should just tell him to fuck off. It's your shit.
And then you just kill him, right? You
yeah,
just kill him
100%. I really wish that we could return to a culture where men with a lot of hair are sexy again. Because hot damn do I got a lot of hair.
You are the biggest idiot in the world, and I cannot believe...
Dear God, Troy makes me uncomfortable sometimes with how unbelievably hot she is.
I mean, I agree. She is very hot.
Like, I'm uncomfortable with how hot she is. Like, it's... Dude, I'm nutting. Like, I'm always nutting.
No nutting in the living room.
There's no nutting here, but... Jesus.
Post nutting. Okay, well, I think we'll wrap it up there. We did go pretty long.
First episode. Neither of us are good at this.
Yeah, we're just trying this out. I enjoyed talking to Jacob. Did you enjoy talking?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that means hopefully we'll do it again soon with new media. I definitely have some ideas on what I'm going to take care of. And I bet you're just going to watch more Star Trek. So.
Well, I got to do something. I can't make next episode Star Trek TNG Season 2.
True.
That fucking suck.
Thank you, everybody, everybody who listened. It's great. It's very supportive for you to just listen to us. Jacob's excited to start podcasting, it seems. His idea was this podcast. He was the one who was like, no, Alex, your idea is dumb. Let's try this. And then we're like, okay, cool. So yeah,
that's exactly how much thought we put into things.
That's about as much thought as you put into things. You're like, oh, let's do it all natural. And we'll see how this works, this natural type format. I like it. But thank you, everybody. And then we are going to be out.
Fuck Starfleet.